You are listening to Supplement Source, the official podcast of the Council for Responsible Nutrition. And now your host, Jeff Ventura.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Supplement Source. I am your host, Jeff Ventura, the Vice President of Communications here at the Council for Responsible Nutrition. I am delighted to be joined by an old friend of CRN, for sure. Not that she's old, but the relationship is older. Traci Kantowski, VP of Global Communications at Cypress Minerals. Welcome to our show. How are you?
Thanks, Jeff. Happy to be here. And I am a longtime friend. We're going to use long time versus old friend.
Yeah, that's like actually
CRN.
I can tell how you became VP of Global Communications because you absolutely know how to phrase that the right way. So listen, we're here today to, I think, talk about a topic that is so timely and so, hot, for lack of a better word. It really is just a hot ingredient, magnesium. And I think a lot of folks, even in our industry, don't know all there is to know about it. We really do appreciate you coming on to educate us on the topic. I wanted to kind of just start out for listeners who may not be as familiar. Can you explain what magnesium is and why it's essential for human health?
Sure. And I am thrilled to talk about magnesium because it is one of my most favorite nutrients.
Great.
I'm going to start by taking us back to high school science class and the periodic table. Some of you may have experienced it earlier, but we're going to hit that periodic table for just a second. Magnesium on that periodic table is an alkaline earth metal. It's atomic number 12 for those that want to play the fun game. So when you're out with your friends, you can say what atomic number is magnesium. It is number 12. So you know.
Love it.
It's a powerful macronutrient. And really why it's so important for the body is it is an essential cofactor involved in over 300 biological reactions, especially energy metabolism. We often hear in our industry about ATP. Well, guess what? Magnesium is bound to ATP, and 80% of all ATP in cells exists as magnesium ATP. So
Wow.
Bottom line, energy powerhouse.
Yeah.
It also is involved in 600 reactions. So it helps stabilize cell membranes, glucose metabolism, regulates ion channels, helps with cognition, relaxation, sleep. A couple fun trivia facts. After potassium, magnesium is the most plentiful mineral inside your cells. So there's a fun fact for you. And unfortunately, your body can't make it. So you can only get magnesium from food or supplements.
Well, and that gets me to my next question. So how probable is it that we get all the magnesium that we need from food?
So magnesium is actually pretty readily available in a lot of foods that we would eat on a regular basis. Spinach, black beans, pumpkin seeds. At least these are foods I love. Avocado, etc. Dark chocolate for our chocolate lovers,
Oof.
Especially the dark chocolate, like 70 to 85% cacao. Yep. But even with all those great foods that it's in, we're still falling short. NHANES data shows that about 50% of Americans are not meeting the daily recommended amount. So what that amount is for women, it's 320 milligrams per day. And for men, it is 420. Women are only getting about 300 with food and supplements, and men are only getting 370 with food and supplements. So we're falling short, Jeff.
MBJ data shows growing consumer demand for magnesium supplements. What factors are driving this trend, do you think?
Sure. And I do want to just note what that means. Magnesium in the mineral space has a 43.8% market share. That's from data that was just presented at the MBJ Summit in July of 2025. So very recent data. And they're predicting 9.4% growth every year. Or that's what growth it had. And then 8% growth through 2028. So it is growing. It's not going anywhere. And part of the reason for that is it's one of those supplements that you can feel. Like when you're taking magnesium, you know you're taking it, right? You feel better. Generally, it's helping your body function better. I talked earlier about all those reactions it's involved in. That's part of why you're feeling better. And so people continue to take stuff that makes them feel better, right? We all want to feel, live better, right? Like
so
want to.
Is it in my head that I sleep better taking magnesium? Because I take it at night and I feel like it helps me sleep.
That's one of the benefit areas for sure.
Oh, okay.
Sleep and relaxation. It 100% is. So I don't think it's all in your head. Keep taking it, Jeff.
Yeah, yeah, I absolutely will. But from a market perspective, what do you see as the biggest opportunities for magnesium products, like in the next few years? Like we know that it's, like you said, not going anywhere. Where are the real opportunities, do you think?
So I think if you look at some additional data, I love, right? You're in marketing and communications. You love data. I love data. I actually asked my friends over at the Industry Transparency Center for some of their data. They run research reports on individual ingredient categories. And so Len Monheit over there, I said, hey, hit me up with some, why are people taking it? Because I think that fuels the benefit areas for us to innovate in. And so when you look at females, younger females, 18 to 34, sleep and relaxation, bone health and mood are top areas for them. Females 35 to 54, kind of that sweet spot that we all go after in this industry. Sleep and relaxation, immune support, stress relief. So what does that mean for women? Innovate in those areas, formulate for those benefit areas. For men, they are looking at mood and bone health as well. Immune support, muscle health, sleep and relaxation. So for men too. So I think that if we look at the benefit areas that consumers are leaning into, that's where the opportunities lie. Also with getting really more creative with the delivery format too.
Let's just talk a little bit. You were mentioning about form. Let's talk about form and function and really timing. So can you break down just quickly the main forms of magnesium? Because there's different forms, am I right?
There sure are. So oftentimes people will just group magnesium together, but that's actually a mistake because there are organic and inorganic forms of magnesium. And there's pros and cons to both. So the inorganic forms that are most common in the market are your mag oxide. Magnesium oxide is the most common form. It can have a lot of benefits. It's used a lot for constipation relief and acid use. It does have high magnesium content. So if you're looking to just boost your label claim, you can do that, but it's not absorbed very well by the body. If you're looking for absorption, then you want to look at the organic forms of magnesium. And the most common forms in supplements are your magnesium citrate and magnesium glycinate or bisglycinate, are the magnesium malate, your L-threonate are the most common forms. Those are organic forms and they tend to have more bioavailability. So it helps stay in your body, works with your body better than those inorganic forms. But even within the organic forms, there's still nuances and differences. So, for example, magnesium citrate, amazing nutrient. However, it can have sometimes a laxative effect. And so if you're, let's say you have an important meeting, Jeff, probably don't take the magnesium citrate right before that.
Right,
but if you're feeling a little stopped up, that would be a good one to take. We're finding that more and more people are formulating with bisglycinates because that's super gentle in the stomach, works really well. But if you need it for that kind of relieving a stuffed up gut, that's not the one to take. But more and more people are formulating with it for that reason. That's where your relaxation, the bisglycinate form has been shown in some studies for the relaxation, sleep, etc. So check your bottle tonight when you look at what you're taking, which form. Your malate, that's great for energy production, muscles. So if you're looking at kind of the sports products, you might want to formulate with your mag malate. The threonate is cognitive support, and that's an exciting area for magnesium if you look at the brain health. So working that in. Those are some of the top ones that probably our industry is most familiar with and that are most commonly used and have the science behind them.
An added layer of complexity then is not only the differing forms in terms of the actual ingredient and the oxide, the citrate, the glycinate, but also the delivery forms. There's different delivery forms as we're kind of touching upon. Can you walk us through what those are?
The most common, like with all supplements, is your capsule. And people are still primarily taking it in that format, but you're also finding it more and more in gummies. That's a very, very popular form. You'll find magnesium in some of the hydration sachets. So a lot of people add it to your water. That's very popular to mix it into your drink hydration mixes. Also to do some of the functional foods and beverages. We're finding more and more people working it into a drink or working it into a bar or some sort of snack That's where I think the market is going beyond just the pill. But frankly, the easiest way is still the capsule. And my recommendation is whatever you're going to actually take regularly, that's what you should use. That's the form. So.
And you've kind of answered my last question, but I'll ask it anyway. So when you're talking about future product development, it sounds to me like there's still a lot of potential for innovation around magnesium, certainly in terms of various delivery methods and so forth.
There definitely is. And there's more science being done to figure it out. So magnesium, to get a little bit technical, magnesium has a pH of around 10. But to work in a beverage mix or some others, you need to really lower that pH to around 5. So you're finding formulation experts and formulation scientists are having a lot of fun figuring out how to work magnesium in to some of those alternative formats. Because for sure, the easy way out is to just pop it into a capsule. But if you get creative, you can have some fun with it and put it into some of these more interesting formats and some of the formats consumers are looking for.
I know I'm going to go home and check my bottle to see what kind I'm taking. Listen, this has been terrific. People who listen to our little podcast are generally from the industry, but everyone's in their own sort of silos often and don't really understand how maybe other ingredients work that are in the portfolios of, their competitors or maybe in their own portfolios. It's great to get an overview from an expert. So we really do appreciate you taking the time out today and coming on, Traci, to educate us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. It was absolutely my pleasure. Anytime you want to talk minerals, magnesium, at the upcoming Convergence, if anybody wants to talk minerals, we can sample some stuff. Maybe CRN can add some mineral mocktails to the menu. Absolutely. We can relax people.
See you in St. Louis, as we're saying to everybody.
Yeah, see you in St. Louis. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Traci. We really do appreciate it. And we will certainly hope to have you back on our little show soon.
Thank you, Jeff.